Hey children, this is Dr. Mini Dhawan, and today we will discuss national and regional political parties. This topic is taken from CBSE Class 10th Political Science book, Chapter 6 Political Parties. But before understanding political parties, we should understand what is Election Commission. Election Commission is an autonomous body which conducts the elections in India. Every party in the country has to register with Election Commission. While the commission gives equal importance to all parties, it offers some special facilities to large and established parties. These parties are given a unique symbol. Only the official candidates of the party can use that election symbol. Parties that get this privilege and some other special facilities are recognized by the Election Commission for this purpose. That is why these parties are called recognized political parties, and we have two types of political parties: national political parties and regional or state political parties. So let us learn about the criteria based on which Election Commission can recognize any political party as a national or regional party. So first we will check national party. A registered party is recognized as a national party only if it fulfills this criteria. That is, at a general election to Lok Sabha or Legislative Assembly, any one of them, the party gets 6% of valid votes in any four or more than four states, and in addition to it, it has to win four Lok Sabha seats. So, like this, a party can get the recognition from Election Commission for becoming a national party. Now, if we talk about state or a regional political party, a party should secure at least 6% of the valid votes polled in an election and win at least two seats in a state assembly and one seat in Lok Sabha. So, this is how the political party can be recognized as a state political party. Now, what is a difference between a national party and a regional party? See, a national party has influence all over the country, and they take care of the national interest. Whereas a state party, a state political party, or a regional political party, as we call it, it has influence in a particular state or a particular region only. Regional parties, they promote mainly regional interest, and they stand for greater autonomy of the states. The examples can be DMK, AIA, DMK, so on and so forth. Now, major political parties in India, if we talk about them, there were uh, seven national recognized political parties in the country in 2016. In 2019, the number rose to 8 with National People's Party. Now, this is the latest party which has become a national political party. It was founded by P.A. Sangma after his expulsion from NCP in 2012. It was given national party status in 2019. It is the first political party from northeastern India to have attained this status. And this party is having presence in Manipur, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, and Rajasthan. And the symbol of the party is Bok. The significance of this symbol is that this party believes that only literacy and education can empower the weaker sections. Now, we will talk about the political parties which are given in your book. Now, next party is All India Trinamool Congress, AITC. Now, this party was launched in January 1998 under the leadership of Mamta Banerjee. It was recognized as a national party in 2016. The party's symbol is flower and a grass. It is committed to secularism and federalism. It has been in power in West Bengal since 2011, and has a presence in Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, and Tripura. In the general election of 2014, it got 3.84% votes and won 34 seats, making it the fourth largest party in Lok Sabha. Now, next is Bahujan Samaj Party or BSP. Bahujan Samaj Party is a party formed to represent the OBC, SC, ST, and religious minorities for those at the bottom of India's caste system. The BSP was formed in 1984 by two leaders. One was Mr. Kanshiram and another Miss Mayawati. So the main base of the party is in UP, and they have been in power in UP for a couple of terms. It also has a substantial following in MP, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Delhi, and Punjab. Now, this party, it draws inspirations from the teachings of Sahuji Maharaj, Mahatma Phule, Periyar Ramaswamy Naicker, and it also draws inspiration from the teachings of B.R. Ambedkar. The party symbol is elephant. Now, next, as you can see, is Bharatiya Janata Party, popularly known as BJP. It was founded in 1980 by reviving the formal Bharatiya Jana Sangh, formed by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee in 1951. It wants to build a strong nation and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient culture and values, and Deen Dayal Upadhyay's idea of integral humanism, which he took from Govalkar thought and Gandhian principles, and Antodaya. Literally, that means the rise of the last person. It talks about the rise of all. Now, they promote cultural nationalism or Hindutva, full territorial and political integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India was their agenda, which has been fulfilled now. They also demand uniform civil code. Now, the Uniform Civil Code or UCC means the formulation of one law for India, which would be applicable to all religious communities in matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoptions, etc. Here, I would like to add a fact that Goa is the only state in India having this uniform civil law, which they had from the time of Portuguese rule. Now, Goa became a part of India in 1961. So, before that, Portuguese rule used to be there. So, after that, from that time only, they had this law. So, BJP demands universal civil code. The BJP, in an alliance with several other parties, led the government of India between 1998 and 2004. NDA, National Democratic Alliance. This party stormed back to power in center in 2014 and ruling with majority till date under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister. Now, this party, it champions the socio-religious values of Hindu majority of India, conservative social policies and strong national defense. Since its formation, the BJP has been a strong rival of Indian National Congress. It has allied itself with regional parties to challenge the Congress party, which dominated Indian politics for almost 40 years. The party symbol is lotus. Next is Communist Party of India or CPI. Now, this party was formed in 1925 and they believe in Marxism and Leninism, means the ideas of Karl Marx and Lenin. So, they also believe in secularism and democracy. It is opposed to the forces of communalism. It believes that parliamentary democracy helps the interest of farmers, the working class, and the poor. There was a split in the party in 1964 and formation of CPIM made its position little weaker. It has following in states of Kerala, West Bengal, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. It aims and propagates, means it teaches unity and coming together of all left parties to form a united left front. It secured less than 1% votes and one seat in 2014 Lok Sabha election. The party symbol, as you can see, is sickle and wheat grains. Now, next party we are going to read about is Communist Party of India, Marxist. The Communist Party of India, Marxist, usually known as CPIM, it had a split from Communist Party of India in 1964. It is strongest in the states of Kerala, West Bengal, and Tripura, and led the government in all these states till 2011. It believes in Marxism, Leninism, and supports socialism, secularism, and democracy, like CPI. It accepts democratic election as a useful and helpful means for securing the objectives of socio-economic justice in India. It opposes imperialism, means extending a country's power and influence through the colonization or use of military force, etc. And communalism also. Communalism means when a particular community tries to promote its interest at the cost of other communities. Its supporters are farmers, agricultural laborers, and intelligentsia. In West Bengal, CPIM had enjoyed power without a break for around 34 years. Jyoti Basu as its chief minister. In the 2014 elections, it won about 3% of the votes and 9% seats. The party symbol, as you can see, is a sickle, hammer, and a star. Now, next is Indian National Congress. So, this is popularly called as Congress Party. It was founded in 1885. It led the movement of independence. And in the first 5 general elections held, the Congress, it virtually controlled the politics of the country. It lost the elections in 1977 following the emergency rule imposed. It made a comeback in 1980 under Mrs. Indira Gandhi with a massive victory and reached its peak in the election of 1984. Now, after 1991, the Congress was on the decline and BJP rose in the power. In the elections held in May 2004, the Congress emerged as the winner with the help of its allies. It formed a coalition government and called it UPA, or United Progressive Alliance. In its manifestos, it projects a vision of politically united and economically prosperous, socially just, and culturally harmonious India. It is a centrist in its ideology, talks a lot about secularism and welfare of weaker sections and minorities. The party symbol, as you can see, is hand. Next is Nationalist Congress Party, or NCP. This party was formed in 1999 following a split in the Congress Party. The party support democracy, Gandhian secularism, equity, social justice, and federalism. They want that high office in the government should be confined to natural born citizens of the country. This is a major party in Maharashtra and has a significant presence in Meghalaya, Manipur, and Assam. Right now, it is a coalition partner in state of Maharashtra in alliance with Congress and Shiv Sena. Since 2004, they have been a member of United Progressive Alliance. The party symbol, as you can see, is clock. Now, these were the national political parties. Now, we will check the rise of regional parties and their contribution. Now, if we talk about regional parties, many parties have grown into prominence over the last 3 decades. It has made Indian Parliament politically more diverse. They give support to national parties to form government, and every state has got a chance to enter into national level alliance. It has also strengthened federalism and democracy. This is a sign of expansion and deepening of democracy in India. Samajwadi Party, Biju Janata Dal, AIADMK, DMK, Sikkim Democratic Front, Mizo National Front, Telangana Rashtra Samiti, etc., are examples of regional parties. In the last years, we have seen that no national party has been able to secure majority on its own in Lok Sabha. The national parties have been compelled to form alliances with the state parties. This had led to the coalition government in the center since 1990s. This had strengthened federalism and democracy in our country. Now, when no party gains the majority of legislative seats in multi-party parliamentary system, so then several parties they join forces and form a coalition government. So supporters of this system, they allow, they say that more point of view is represented in the government. So, and critics of the system, what do they say? They say that multi-party system sometimes lead to political instability in India. In 2004 and 2009, had three such alliances for parliamentary elections. One was National Democratic Alliance, or we call it NDA. Second was the United Progressive Alliance, or UPA. And third was Left Front. Left Front, it had all the parties of the left. So, evolution, how it takes of a political party in a country. See, a particular party system takes time to evolve in a country. It depends on the nature of the society, social and regional diversities. It also depends on its history of politics and its system of elections. India, it is a country of huge geographical and social diversity. Such diversity may not be easily accommodated by two or three parties, and it's quite natural that a multi-party system has evolved in India. And every party system has its pros and cons. Now, political parties they do not enjoy much trust among the people in South Asia. Um Political parties are one of the least trusted institution all over the world, and yet the level of participation in the activities of political parties are fairly high. This is an irony. The proportion of those who said they were members of some political party was higher in India than many advanced countries like China, Japan, Spain, South Korea, etc. Over the last 3 decades, the proportion of those who report to be a member of a political party in India has gone really high. The proportion of those who say that they feel close to a political party has also gone up in India in this very period. Now we'll talk about the challenges to political parties. What are the major challenges which are being faced by political parties? First one being the lack of internal democracy. See, the power is concentrated in the hands of one or a handful of leaders. Ordinary members they do not have access to information, they cannot influence decisions, membership registers they are not maintained, so they do not conduct internal elections regularly. Ordinary members of the party they do not get chance to come up. The top leadership is often disconnected with the grassroots workers. Loyalty to the policy and principles of the party has less value than the loyalty to the top leadership. Disagreement with the leader it leads to the path out of the party. Next is dynastic succession. The top position in many political parties are usually controlled by members of one family. Leaders on top have unfair advantage to favor people close to them or family members. Top positions controlled by family members in many of the party, in most of the party I would say, it is bad for democracy. A person born in a particular family becomes the leader by virtue of his birth. This is not a sign of healthy democracy. This tendency is present in most of the political parties in India. This is not the case in India alone, but in many countries as well. Even in the older democracy, we have seen this. Now, the third challenge which political parties face, that is the challenge of money and muscle power. A political party leaves no stone unturned to win elections. During elections, this power is very visible. They spend a huge sum of money on electioneering. Nominates candidates who can raise money, rich people who give funding often influence the decisions and policies. Parties often take help of criminals and give them tickets. So that is a problem. And now, no meaningful choice. That is also another problem. See, decline in ideological differences amongst different parties we have seen. Most of the political parties they sound similar to one another. People have no choice than choosing the better of the two similar ideologies. In some states, the party in power just changes every 5 years, but people seldom experience no change on the ground. Now, there is not much difference in ideology in among parties. Example, Labour Party and Conservative Party of Britain. They only differ on details of implementation rather than the fundamental principles. In India also, there is not much difference among parties on the economic issues. Now, we will discuss how political parties can be reformed. What are the ways to reform political parties? See, the constitution was amended to prevent defection. Now, defection means changing, uh, contesting election from one party and later, going to another party. That is called defection. After winning, they go to another party. Now, the MPs and MLAs will lose their seat in the parliament or the state assembly if they defect. It means that if they are contesting election from party A and after winning, if they are going to any other party, so they will have to lose their seat in parliament or state assembly. So here, defecting means leaving one party and joining other. The Supreme Court it passed certain orders to reduce the power of money and criminals, and there was an anti-defection law passed. A anti-defection law it says that MLA or MP changes party, he or she will lose the seat in legislature. Now, next is detail of property and criminal proceedings during nominations. It is mandatory for every candidate who contests election to file an affidavit giving detail of his property and criminal cases pending against him. They have to do it. And this new system has made a lot of information available to the public. But there is no system of check if the information given by candidates is true or not. If it is wrong, then what? So we have seen that many candidates they sometimes hide information or they do not give the correct information. Next is mandatory organizational elections and IT returns. Now, it is necessary for political parties to hold their organizational elections and file their income tax returns. The parties have started doing so, but sometimes it is merely a formality. So, beside these, many suggestions are made to reform political parties. These suggestions they have not been yet accepted by political parties, but they are suggestions for the futures. We can say that a law should be, made to regulate the internal affairs of political parties. It should be made mandatory for political parties to give a minimum number of tickets, about one third to women candidates. There should be state funding of elections. That is very important because people spend a lot of money on election. So this is going to curtail the election expenses. This support could be given in kind. I mean, petrol can be there, paper, telephone, etc. Things like that can be given. So, or in other way, it could be cash also on the basis of votes secured by the party in the last election. So, next can be like people can put pressure on political parties, and this can be done through petitions, publicly agitations, ordinary citizens, pressure groups, and movement and media can play an important role in this. Political parties can improve if those who want to join politics, and it is difficult to reform politics if an ordinary citizen do not take part in it and simply criticize it from outside. So, as the quality of democracy depends upon the degree of participation, more and more people are supposed to join the politics, and they should be inside it, not like standing outside and criticizing it. So, today we learnt about the role of election commission and national and regional political parties and reforms which can be done to improve the working of political parties. I will come up again with a new topic. Till then, stay vibrant and keep learning.